All right, hello everybody. How's it going? So I don't want to be cliche. I don't want to drag this, but as you can tell by the title, I left FaZe, and it's really something. Like I said, I don't want to be cliche, but something I never really expected to say. But at the same time, in a weird way, it's something that I kind of expected over the last few years. Um, and yeah, I put out a statement a few days ago. If you guys have been on Twitter and Instagram, I'm sure you've seen everybody left FaZe. If you haven't, then I'll try to catch you up real quickly. But you know, I've kind of it's kind of settled in over the last few days that this is kind of the end of FaZe as we know it. As of right now, FaZe Esports is like operating as a different entity and it's still going. Shout out to the CS team and all the other teams. I love CS. I still watch it all the time. But all the FaZe members have left. Right now, as I'm recording this, Jev and Scope are the only ones I believe that did not leave. I talked to them a little bit over the last few days, updating them when I had updates like, hey, by the way, this is kind of what's happening. Just a heads up. And unfortunately, I didn't really have updates either. I saw some stuff on Twitter or heard like 1 hour before stuff were going on Twitter too. So it's been a little crazy. So I just wanted to kind of make a video, make some context, give some context, and kind of like close the book on this. I mean, it's been a long time, and honestly, I could not do FaZe justice. Uh, like I'd have to sit for months and come up with scripts, and I didn't want to. I thought about it, like trying to write some script out or whatever, but like I just thought I'd just turn on the camera and start talking. So first and foremost, before talking about all the things that led to this, I mean, I just want to say thank you to all the FaZe fans over the years that have watched, whether it's myself or any other FaZe member, whether it's random, Fortnite FaZe fans or Counter Strike FaZe fans or random games or random eras, whether it's the new streamer era or the old one. Thank you to everyone that supported FaZe. It has been an insane journey, and FaZe is one of the coolest things ever. I don't care. Maybe I'm biased because I'm one of the quote unquote founders, right? And I've been in, and I was a fan in 2010 before I joined. 2011, it was like the best day of my life when I joined, March 6, 2011. And over the last 15 years now, 15 years would have been this March, so just shy 15 years. I'm saying 15 years. I don't care, and I'm always gonna call myself FaZe Apex. I don't care unless I get a cease and desist letter. But it has been an amazing, amazing. Like I don't even know how to describe it with words. It's been an insane journey and so special, bro. I meet random people to this day that come up to me like, dude, I'm sorry. I know this is like really weird, but like I feel like I know you, and like blah blah blah. And I'm like, bro, I get it. If you were in MW2 and Black Ops 2 era, we have a special connection. So like I know like they think it's weird. I know I don't I'm sorry. I know I feel like I know you don't know me, but I feel like I know you. I'm like nah, but like I understand, man. There's like a special bond that we have from gaming, but also just from the internet. Anybody that kind of grew up on this culture. But I saw so many tweets over the last couple of days of people that are just crediting like, oh, FaZe when I was 12 years old in 2011 or 12, and I saw what they were doing. It inspired me, and now I do X, Y, and Z. You know, I designed this logo, or I worked for this company, or whatever. It's so cool. I think like us all as a collective, not just FaZe, but you guys that were watching, everyone that was a part of this culture, like we all inspired each other. There's so many people I've met that have like started their careers editing montages on Call of Duty or doing graphics. Like it's so weird, it's so unique, and it's so legendary. Even if FaZe ended in 2016, it would be such a legendary thing. And I think that's why here in 2025, about to be 2026, why there's been so many of these ups and downs and dramas and all this is because of how special FaZe is and how hard it is for all of us that have been a part of it and even viewers to kind of let go of it. So I just want to say thank you to everyone that watched it. I also want to say thank you to all of the OG members. I'm gonna quickly just talk about myself and where I've been out in the last few years, but I know there's a lot of OG FaZe members that really got, you know, mishandled and they did not have a really a proper way to kind of close the book with FaZe themselves. So I really feel for everyone, and I hate the way that a lot of things did play out. At the same time, I'm of the opinion that it's like so much good happened, so much bad happened, but you can't cherry pick what you like and what you don't like. Like it's all FaZe. There's so many things that FaZe has done and people in FaZe have done that I disagree with, and that are like so against who I am, but it's like if you're in FaZe, you benefit from the good, you reap the benefits from the good, and you just take it on the chin when something bad happens. All the scams, whether it's gambling or crypto, whatever, all these things that I have never been a part of. I've been called a scammer. I've been, it's just what FaZe is. It's the same for every other FaZe member. If anybody in there that's watching has been a part of FaZe, it's just like when something happens to one of us, it happens to everybody else. And unfortunately, in some ways, for some people, it was a one-sided thing, right? Where like when a lot of good things happen, like they kind of got left off, off the bus. Is that a phrase? We're not talking about Fortnite, boys. But anyways, there's been a lot that happened. So I just want to say one, I want to thank genuinely all the OG FaZe members that have ever been a part of FaZe. I was talking to Scope a couple days ago on the phone, and like for example, someone like Scope, bro, I have the deepest amount of love in my heart for someone like Scope because how much he loves FaZe. Um, Literally, it's just so cool for people to love something that I've been a part of building that deeply. So him joining FaZe, one of my favorite FaZe members ever, for example. I mean, he's technically still in FaZe to this day. Like I said, I talked to him a little bit, talked to Jeff a little bit. They're the only ones that haven't really said anything. Regardless, right? I'm not even talking about that. Let them talk when they talk. But Scope, for example, someone like Scope is like the perfect example. You know, FaZe fan, loves the brand more than anything. Joined FaZe, it's like his dream for years. I mean, I hope he had a good time in FaZe. Unfortunately, like him and a lot of people, dude, they joined at a time where it just sucked, unfortunately. Versus like, I was blessed to join 2011 and enjoy the prime of Call of Duty. And like, I know there's some people had that dream, and I really, really feel bad for the people that joined and it wasn't what they wanted, it wasn't what they expected. Feel bad for the OGs that kind of, like I said, got screwed over at some point, for lack of better words. And there's a lot of people that probably should have been in FaZe that weren't at certain points in history, and it's like, anyways, what I was saying about Scope is like there's so many people out there like Scope, and if it wasn't for you guys, this brand would have never been existed, would never been as cool as it has been. So thank you to everyone, thank you to all the OGs, all the people. And if I have ever done any of you wrong, I apologize, and please feel free to message me if you haven't. I've talked to a few members over the years, and like this is where I'm at with it. I have been super involved since, I joined. In 2013, I kind of I became a co-leader. Didn't mean anything at the time. And then in 2014, we incorporated the business, and I became a founder with Rain, Banks, and Tommy. And like from that day, basically, until about 3 years ago, I was super involved with everything. Um, since that was the case, I take my like share and people having bad experiences about things going the wrong way, even if I feel like, hey, this wasn't my decision or I was against this, but yeah, everyone else decided to do this. At the end of the day, we were, I was a part of the quote unquote leadership for many, many years. So anybody during that time that wasn't taken care of or kind of had a bad exit or a bad experience, like I genuinely apologize for that. I will say, I started when I was 14, I joined FaZe. So when we were 18 is when we incorporated the company and we started building a company, quote unquote, not really knowing what we're doing, right? So a lot of these really rough years. Now I'm about to turn 30, which I still feel like I have like, I got a lot more experience, but there's so much to learn. Um, but a lot of these very important years of building were when we were about 20 to 22 years old, and there was a lot of outside influence that came in, and it was a bad recipe, bad recipe. It was a recipe for disaster. But at the same time, there's so many people. Like even having four founders, like that's a lot. And if you guys know my boys, everybody has their own personality. Everyone, we got some loud personalities, then we got some more passive, quiet personalities, and all of us made mistakes along the way. We've heard a lot of opinions about how things played out. You guys probably have all your own opinions. What I believe is that, like I know myself, and I think everybody else, for a majority of the history, really was try to do what they think is best for FaZe. Um, from Rain to Seabass to myself, right? All three of us have different approaches, and because Seabass and Rain are two polar opposites that names get brought up. I think Rain cares, and he's always cared, but I also think Seabass did. I think they just had way different approaches, and same with myself. Me and Rain, we have been great over the years. There's been a few hiccups, but honestly, what it comes down to, I always tell them, I was like, listen, I me and you want the same solution. We just go about it different ways. So, he's talked many, many times about publicly how against the corporate stuff he was, and it's like I never sit here talking publicly about it. I've talked with him over a little bit, but it's just like at the end of the day, we had different approaches. Do I regret certain approaches I had? Maybe, but at the end of the day, I was always trying to do what I thought was best for FaZe. Not myself. I'm sure at moments, obviously, I thought about myself, but like I can die and go face God, genuinely believing that I tried what was best with FaZe, and I know that. So I tried to do what was best for FaZe, and I know that. So as rough as things were, as much as things kind of didn't play out in ways that people wanted, as much as some people got like mishandled and all that, like I'm not happy about any of that, and I'm not saying oh whatever. I'm just saying oh there's so much that happens behind all these decisions and these things, and it's like I know I tried my best when I had the power to do so. And yeah, I think just speaking of Rain, I mean, I just remembered I saw two clips of Rain on my TikTok. One was him talking about how he's me, him, and I think he said him and Adapt too, how like our relationships are just special. We're like brothers. I agree. And that we're always gonna be brothers. And he said, what did he say? He said like, he said like I left face a couple days ago. I posted on Twitter. He's like we didn't even talk about it. We talked about everything but that, which is funny and it's true. We really didn't talk about it. Let me have some coffee. My coffee's melting because I'm yapping. Um, we talked about everything but that, which was funny. Like he didn't even we didn't even I literally left phase. We didn't even talk about it. But another clip I saw was him talking about how Can you hear me? All right, my mic died. I didn't want to edit this video. I don't know if I'm gonna edit that out or I didn't want to edit this video, but my headset turned off. Anyways, my other mic's not connecting. Let's keep it moving. He said that he's talking about how he thinks everyone's sold out. And he basically mentioned at some point in the phase of history that all me, Tommy, and Banks all got extra equity that he didn't get, which is true. It happened in I don't know what year it was, but it was basically during one of the times where very publicly Rain was like I don't know if it was against FaZe or maybe it was during like the bad time he had publicly. The reason I say that, I'm not saying that just to say it. The reason I'm saying that is because I literally know for a fact the board at the time, who was in charge of all these things, would not give him would not give him options. So you have our original founder shares, and then we all got options for working at FaZe at the time. He didn't get those options. However, from that day, I never stopped the CEO and the president at the time telling them we need to get Rain caught up. And I always knew in the back of my head, there's no world where we're not gonna get him caught up whenever he's like basically back. And I literally remember sitting with Rain and talking to him. I was stressed about bringing it up to him because I was like, dude, like I know how he's gonna feel about this, but like I don't know how long the period of time was. So he's right about what happened, but I made sure that he was gonna get paid, get his options back, or get the same grant. And I remember sitting and telling him what happened, and he finally did get them, basically. Regardless, he ended up getting the same value. Years later, and he still is right about what he said, but I just want to make that caveat because I was very, very like sure from the beginning that I'm gonna make sure that we all remain equal. Now there were other ways that some of us had more shares than I don't know. I shouldn't say some of us. I know I did, for example, because early on I invested a lot of money in like Rain talks about how he put money into the Counter Strike team. At some point, I don't know. I think he got paid back years later. With me, I remember I was like, just put it into shares at some point in this whole process too. So at the end of the day, there wasn't an exact number. There was some here and there that were like kind of, but what he's talking about, he ended up getting caught up. Regardless, I didn't want to talk about this too much. Rain, I love you. I'm not even arguing. I just wanted to give context because that's one thing that I wanted to make sure was taken care of, and it was. However, one thing I couldn't get taken care of that I wanted to was other phase members. There's so many other phase members like Tico, and me and him have talked for literally hours. I think all of us hate talking to each other about phase because of how much these conversations have dragged. It's like him and other phase members that should have had equity, they never got it. And it's like, again, I'm not acting fully innocent. We all made the mistake early on of not doing it the right way. Maybe I was too like, easy to be like, okay, like if I'm told, hey, no, the board's never gonna approve this. We're not gonna be able to get them shares. It's only about people that are joining forward, blah blah blah. And it's like, I again trusting the process, trying to make it work. maybe I folded too easily. I don't know. I go back, I look back, I don't know. I don't know. In my head, I was always trying to keep the peace and trying to merge two sides, and I always tried to tell the people in charge, please take care of these people. At the end of the day, the excuses of the board, this and that. Looking back, yeah, I definitely probably got finessed with that because they would say that, and then these random friends that they would hire would come in and get these fat equity deals and salaries, and it's just like, damn. So all of that kind of started happening a year or two before it went public, while FaZe kind of hit its peak in the mainstream media and all these cool things. And then when we went public, really everything went downhill. So I don't want to go too deep into this, but over those next few years, FaZe's FaZe's value went from like a billion to 10 million. I think it got purchased for. Crazy. Game Square purchased FaZe Clan, and then you know up until that point, Tommy, Banks, and Rain and I, for the first time in years, really like started talking, meeting up with people, talking about how can we kind of fix where we're at. And then when Game Square happened, Rain decided not to join because it was still going to be primarily owned by other people. At this point, again, my perspective, there's no way. Like we were so many people put so much money, lost so much money. It's just like we'd all love to 100% own it, but it wasn't a reality. Um, but again, respect. He decided to step away. For me, at this point, I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna try to see this through as long as I can and hope for a miracle. After about another year or two with Game Square, a year with Game Square probably, all these conversations started happening about like, all right, Game Square is going to own esports, and then we're actually going to start a new company that is going to like take this logo and IP, and it's going to like make a new media company, and then we're all going to own that media company. So we basically have all this ownership again in the media company, and then Game Square will own esports. So our original FaZe shares that we got when we made the LLC or whatever it was in 2014 were in Game Square now, diluted, 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 all the way down like this, right? But technically, it owned FaZe Esports and Game Square. The new media company that we spoke about, I'll be honest, I randomly opened Twitter one day and I see an article that it was formed. All these millions of dollars went into forming it and buying it, and I was caught off guard. We were having conversations. A lot of the details I feel like I thought I was involved in, I didn't, know. And I saw it go public on Twitter. I was like, okay, try to get some context. It was a little confused, and then honestly, from that point on, it was kind of GG's for me. I really just fell out of communication with a lot of people, and you know, my understanding of what would happen when we did that was not what happened. Now here's you know the funny thing, right? Is like this is the same time where all these streamers come in and they explode. So it's like cool. Now there's all this success at FaZe. I'm not gonna come here and start complaining. Where's my equity? Where's my original equity? I thought I was gonna have X, Y, and Z. It's like, dude, at this point, FaZe is back. You know what I'm saying? The streamers are crushing it. I just literally was just sitting like this on the sideline. I'm like, all right, in ways, I'm like, okay, I want to be involved. I was trying to get involved for many years. I shouldn't say many years. It was like 2024, so it's been about a year and a half max, right? Honestly, if I'm just being fully transparent, I was not really kind of let in the door, is what it felt like. There's things that just like I saw that media thing on Twitter. I open Twitter and I see a new FaZe logo. Like there's stuff like that, right? I saw Rain mention that as well. Like it's true. A lot of stuff would just happen on Twitter. I wasn't really in any chats. I wasn't really involved. And I don't hold that against any of the new guys or anything. Those guys, I actually feel bad for them. They came in, they did an amazing job, and they had a lot of drama around them, like a lot of FaZe members over the years. Um, Long story short, it exploded. They did really well. And then, finally, when equity kind of got brought up again, and I've been waiting to see where am I gonna fit in all this. The equity structure that I saw was just not what I expected. I was happy to see that there was like equity being, counted for all the new guys. I think that's how FaZe always should have ran. It should be owned by the creators, but um, the amount that I expected for all the original founders to have was not what was presented. Um, and there was like it just wasn't. We were we were all equal, like I mentioned up to that point, and then it was not anymore. And then at that moment, I kind of realized it's kind of GG's. and I didn't really know what to do, to be honest. But for 3 years, I've kind of slowly accepted the fate that like the phase that I want is probably not ever gonna happen again. My involvement is probably not, gonna be where it was. Ownership is not, this whole dream of like building this company and selling it at the end or whatever the hell it was not gonna happen. Um, so I ended up selling my shares, which is something that Rain referenced. He said he's the only one that owns original phase shares. I did that earlier this year. I mean, to be honest with you guys, I watched my value, something I've been building for 15 years, just drop over and month over month. So then when I realized I have zero ability to impact this, I'm not really included right now in the future plans of this. I was like, why am I going to watch it keep dropping? Um, so the GameSquare shares, I ended up selling my GameSquare holdings earlier this year. Thank God for everything. Money is money. I'm very blessed regardless of what I expected versus what I got, but like, just want to make it clear. It was 99.5% less than what my holdings would be when we went public. So, did not cash out in the way that people are going to, think. So, like when Rain mentions that people think like we all cash out. Like, I don't know about other people. I want to talk about other people. I'll talk about myself. I sold at an insane loss. It was even a tax loss from the original games. Like, anyways, thank God. I just took it. I took what I could get out of it because I realized GameSquare is this big company that owns all these different things, and FaZe Media is a little piece of it. So my original FaZe shares, it was more of like a sentiment thing that I wanted to hold, and then I'm like, I think I'm just being dumb because I need to take care of my family. So I sold that and just was like, let's just cut my losses there, and hopefully with FaZe Media, I'll get something back and be able to like rebuild that. That ended up not really happening. Um, I did get it like a contract I never ended up signing for equity. Wasn't again any, I'm not, I'm grateful for everything in phase. It just wasn't what I was expecting. My relationship just wasn't what I wanted at this point after 15 years of building it. So I was slowly fading out. And then over the last couple days, everything kind of went down with the people leaving. So honestly, when Adapt left, I knew it was kind of GG's. Talked to Rug a little bit, and then just like then over the couple days, I think I just finally realized, all right, it's time to just close the chapter to leave. I don't think FaZe is ever going to be what it is again because I don't think they even want. I don't know what the future. I'm not involved, like I said. I have no role or influence on what the. Unfortunately, I own as much of this as you guys do right now, right? I don't know what they're gonna do with it. I know there's like a company being built that has a different focus. I don't know what's gonna happen with FaZe. I think, to my understanding, FaZe was just gonna continue to be the group of streamers, but now that they all left, I don't know if it's gonna be anything other than esports. And esports was already a separately owned entity, so I have no clue what is gonna happen with FaZe and content, and that's why I feel like I just was like, all right, it's time for me to just move on, um, and take this experience and whatever, and try to do something else with it. So I have some things I'm working on, I'm excited about, but it was not the easiest decision to come to, but like I said, it's been like 3-4 years of like all the emotions of FaZe being ripped out, not ripped out like taken away, but like I slowly accepted the fate over the last few years. So it made it a little easier to finally cut the ties. Actually, in some ways, I felt like a weight was lifted off my chest, to be honest. But it's still, it hurts. It hurts on the inside for all of us. I know for a lot of you too, to watch FaZe end, kind of. At least like the FaZe that we know end. So listen, I yapped a lot, and I did a 17-minute take of this before that I ended up stopping. I don't want to edit, so I'm not even gonna watch this back. Hopefully this made sense. I want to say thank you to all you guys again, to all the FaZe members, old and new, all the new guys. I wish them nothing but the best. Even the new people that own FaZe, I wish them nothing but the best. I hope that FaZe, everybody involved is happy. I don't hold any grudges. I don't hold any like crazy feelings of resentment or anything in my heart to people. At the end of the day, people put in millions and millions of dollars. Maybe they assumed something would happen and it didn't. Maybe they had this vision that was. It just sucks all around for everyone. There's things I wish happened differently. Like I said earlier, I don't want to cherry pick and point the finger and whatever. We're here because of a collection of everybody's decisions, and just it's just what happened. Um, and Like I said, it's really cool. There's so many people that love FaZe and care about it so much that like it hurts so much for so many people over the years, all these decisions and all these things. Like I don't know, that's weird. It's a weird way to say it, but it just shows how special it is. It will always be super special. And hey, if you know, if you ever see me out in public, let's talk about it. Let's reminisce together. It's fun, man. I'm beyond the sadness of the nostalgia. I'm happy to close the chapter and you know move on. So I wish everyone involved nothing but the best. Hopefully you guys enjoyed having this a part of your like childhood or whatever the hell it was growing up, and you know what? Hopefully we'll work together. I mean, hopefully I'll work with some of you out there, and who knows what happens. Again, you never say never. I never thought I'd make content again at the podcast. Who knows what the future holds? But as of right now, it feels like okay, this chapter is closed. Let's see what the future holds. But yeah, all right, I'm gonna stop yapping because I'll keep going. But thank you guys for everything over the years. I don't know if I'm gonna post on the channel anytime soon. I really don't know. I've tried to be as transparent as possible. So hopefully you guys here, if you have any questions, I mean, hey, maybe I'll reply to some of the comments. I don't know. It's like a weird like I like half want to look, half don't want to look. I will say I got so many DMs on Twitter and Instagram and replies to my tweets and comments. It really genuinely made me feel like very good. So I appreciate all the nice stuff and like just seeing how much it impacted people's lives. I never think about it that deeply, but I think after leaving and seeing people's responses, I'm like, damn. It's kind of the same feeling I got when I started that gaming channel, just seeing a lot of the support. So I really do appreciate it. You get, I don't know. I had a lot of peaks on YouTube where I was getting millions and millions of views a day. So you don't realize it until it goes away, and then you get a little bit of it again. Like, damn, this is crazy. This many people care. This many people are replying. So thank you to everyone for all the support. And yeah, who knows what the future holds? If I do anything cool, you'll see it on my Twitter and my Instagram probably. But you know, pray for me, boys, and I wish you guys the best. And I hope to see you guys soon. Thank you. FaZe up for life. And yeah, see you guys later.